Okay. Well, thank you, Marites, for this interview and I know you're the past president in 2006 and 2007, but maybe if you could tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, thank you, Bill. Marites Calad. I'm uh, Vice President, Branch Manager of Norman Wright, and been with the company for 27 years now, going 28, and studied mechanical engineering, and that's how I ended up here. I'm married and no biological children, but I have stepchildren and step grandchildren, and my first family is Norman Wright family. So that's how I always tell people. But I'm the youngest of seven
Oh, wow.
kids, and I have a twin brother who made military or army his career, and he had just retired after serving for 30 years. And so, yeah, he is also not married and no kids.
Wow. So
But
where were you born and raised?
yeah, I was actually born in the Philippines, actually up north, the northern part of the Philippines. And our native language is Ilocano, not Tagalog, which is the national language for the Philippines. And I grew up there with a mom who's a housewife, and my dad was a bus driver. Just like the similar to Greyhound buses. And so we rarely saw him. And moved to the US when I was 13. But yeah, I lived in a village where we knew everybody.
Ah, wow, interesting. And
Yeah.
and where did you go to school here and in the university and places that you worked?
Yeah. So funny, when I was 13 when we moved here, and that was in July 10, 1985. We got here, and my dad's like, well, you guys have to find your own jobs and make money so you can buy your own school supplies and provide for yourselves. And so we started working even before going to school. We came here and we landed in my aunt's one bedroom apartment, and there were eight of us, so sandwiched in a little apartment. But after 4 months of that, we moved to a different location. So I started at Waipahu Intermediate, and where I started at seventh grade. And after 1 year there, then we moved to Kalihi. So I attended Kalakaua Intermediate and then went on to Farrington High School. Um, After Farrington High School, then I went to Santa Clara University in California, um, to study mechanical engineering with the guidance of the counselors and push from my math teachers at Farrington High School. That's where I ended.
What got you interested in engineering?
Good question. Let me turn on the fan. All these questions.
You're on the hot seat, that's why.
I am. um, so I was always very good in math, even when I was young. Uh, I was in kindergarten in the Philippines, and I was already gathering my village friends to teach them how to solve math problems, and I enjoyed doing that. And I enjoyed it on doing it on Saturdays. I would have my own chalkboard, and my I would teach them how to solve math problems. So I've always been like that since I was young. I've always loved money, counting money, trying to like figure out numbers. So I'm not sure why, but I love math numbers way early. And then again, uh, I excelled in math even in the Philippines. I went to math competitions, events. And so when I came here at Waipahu Intermediate, I was really good in math. I got promoted to, not promoted, I went to math honors um, first first week of school. They're like, oh, you don't belong here. You have to go to math honors. But I was actually in the lowest class of English. It's they used to call it SLEP, SLEP, where you needed it's like something language. Anyway, so I was in the lowest class of English and I was the highest class of math. But I really excelled in math. I loved it. So math, again, math competition. When I went to Kalakaua, I was again in honors math, where I did, all the way to high school and pre-calc, and calculus in senior year. But engineering, obviously, I was really good in math. And so luckily, we had great high school coaches or advisors, and they would meet with us and let us know. It's like, oh, what do you want to study when you grow up or when you go to college? And so they kind of guide us. And that was really nice of Farrington High School at the time. But I did ask my dad, I was like, Dad, hi, what should I study? I'm going to college. And he said, I've always wanted to have an engineer in the family, and you're the youngest. So if you can be an engineer, that would be really nice. So I wanted to make him proud and decided to go into engineering. So
Why
that's
mechanical engineering? Because I know it women they like civil and electrical, not so many in mechanical at
yeah,
that time.
yeah. And so it's funny because, and I don't know, maybe it's just um maybe you know hired powers or superpowers, or God was kind of leaning me towards it. But so I went to, I applied to 7 colleges, and all of them were Jesuit, and except except University of Hawaii. And I did that because of the 10-to-1 ratio, or the low ratio. Oh, excuse me, except University of Hawaii and USC. So I got accepted to all of them. USC was asking me to pay $1,000 a year as my contribution. I'm like, where am I gonna get $1,000? I have no money. UH gave me a full scholarship. Um, but I don't think I specify which engineering when I got accepted to the colleges, only when I had to fill out my, acceptance and then fill out the school registration. And I don't know why, but I chose mechanical engineering. I loved cars. And so I kind of sort of research, what mechanical engineers do. So I just said, oh, I think I'm going into mechanical. So that's how I ended in
It's
mechanical.
just the luck of the draw.
Yeah. But I don't know. You're very familiar with encyclopedias, right? So I used to love what reading up encyclopedia and what, electrical and mechanical. And I love cars. I actually did, I changed batteries, I changed tires, I cleaned the engines when I was help, because my dad drove and he showed us the engine of the buses he drove, which was pretty cool. So buses and cars fell under mechanical. So that's why I went to mechanical.
Great. That's neat.
Yeah.
So how did you get involved in ASHRAE?
Yeah. So I, first I was working for Natkin for a while, and
Right out of
then
college?
no, I could not have find a job in Hawaii. Um in the engineering department. I couldn't find an engineering job. I applied to about 30 some engineering companies February of 1995, and I did not get one callback or call or email, or not email at the time, but or a letter. But I did get a call from Narcan, and they asked me, "Hey, do you want to come and interview with us?" So I interviewed with them July of 1995, and um, I thought it was very positive, but they said they couldn't hire just yet because of the economy. 1985 was, I guess, I'm sorry, 1995 was kind of a bad year, I guess, economy wise. And so July and then August, September, October, November, I would call them, I would follow up and say, "Hey, are you guys hiring now?" And they said no. So finally, December came, 1995, and I said, I don't mind working for free. And so I started work. I volunteer, not volunteer, but I don't call it an intern either because I was already out of school. So I worked for Notkin. I volunteered not Notkin for 6 months before they got me on their payroll. But in any way, I'm not sure if that's a public knowledge, so maybe you can cut that out. But and so 1995, 1996 came, and again, the economy didn't pick up. 1997 came, and it was really slow. And so um, I heard a rumor that the company I was with at the time was looking at laying off people. And so a gentleman who I worked with kind of like, "Hey, if things don't go well here, a company called Norman Wright is looking for a young engineer to handle McQuay." And so I applied, and I got hired. Actually, I applied, they interviewed me, I got hired, and they didn't believe that I went to Santa Clara University.
Hmm.
And they didn't believe that I had a mechanical engineering degree. And so I was dehired or fired, if you will. And then I got a second interview with them. They asked me about, what are the design conditions in Hawaii, and who are the, you know, kind of project systems. And so I answered those correctly. And so I got hired and finally made it officially join the team. And that was May 1997. And I think, that's when we switched right to to new sets of officers. And so I was voluntold to go and help out the chapter and become a help out in the programs or something. So that's how I got started. I was voluntold.
Ah, that's good.
So,
Interesting
but
story. You got hired and then dehired.
dehired. I call it dehired. It's like, okay, yeah, that was but I just I said, "That's fine. I'm a woman." Probably hard to believe, going from Farrington High School to Santa Clara University. I was the first Farrington High School student to attend Santa Clara University.
Ah, wow. So you're
So
another groundbreaker in many areas.
I did,
Uh,
it's like I was the first female president of Key Club at Farrington High School. Um, I was the first to attend Santa Clara University. I was the first to, I'm sure, work for free. I was the first um, president of ASHRAE, right? And
yeah, the
female
chapter
president
person.
of the chapter. And then I was the first female vice president of Norman Wright.
Wow, wow,
Yeah.
wow.
So those are kind of cool, right? I liked it. It's history in the making, I guess.
So how was it as a groundbreaker, as a woman? Mechanic in a mechanical field, in as a ASHRAE chapter president, and even in your own company, right? Kind of the first. How was it like for you, and especially that you're a minority? You're Filipino. I mean, over here, that's not the minority, but on the
Yeah,
mainland, for a mainland
yeah.
firm and stuff.
But interestingly enough, for the industry we're in, female Filipino females, there's a lot of them in the on the construction and the civil side, but
Nowadays, yeah.
not on the mechanical side. Yeah, but I don't even know. It wasn't even something I would, it's like, oh, you're the first female vice president of Norman Wright, or I'm like, okay, or the first female president of Hawaii chapter. I guess in the eyes of others, that's pretty cool, right? Um, and for me, it was more like just I think I always like to make a difference wherever I'm at.
Uh,
Work 100% or at least 100%, make a difference in where I'm at, and always want to make a add value. So I'm always moving forward. And so I know it's huge to young girls when people you're talking to young girls. I'm like, wow, she's my idol. Love that. For me, it's just like, man, I'm just trying to survive. It was more of a survival for me. It's like, how do I work hard and make sure that I make a difference in wherever I'm at. And maybe that's what got me here.
mm.
So
And
um
and you've been involved even in the regional level, right? And the national level. Maybe just tell a little bit about the different offices you've kind of held, and
yeah.
what you're doing now.
Yeah. So, it was nice to be very involved in the chapter level. And, there was a former member of ASHRAE that really pushed us to get into the regional level. But, we had Lester Nakata, who
Mm,
also served in regional, and I served the chapter while he was the regional treasurer. And I like the CRCs when I got to I attended them, and I thought I learned a lot. I got to network with a lot of people. And so I guess when you have the energy and you have the personality and you have the yes mindset, right? Or you have you're nice to be around, and you're always volunteering, you're always saying yes. And so I got asked if I wanted to, I guess I was nominated for membership promotion. And I love that. I love membership promotion. I liked that committee of ASHRAE. So I did that, and that was really great. And then I served as a um, nominating alternate for the region. And then I became, when I say nominating, it's, we we looked at all the candidates on the regional level as well as society level. So I got that experience. And then I became the assistant regional chair, which obviously, given the title, it's assisting the director and regional chair of the region, and then essentially became DRC. So I was the second female DRC, of director and regional chair of Region 10, which covers about 14 um, chapters spread out in 4 different states. So that's on the regional level. And then when you're nominating, you're also serving the society. So I was serving the region as well as the society, because it's a different sort of in itself. Nominating is by itself. Uh, then I again, with the energy and the being loving to volunteer and all that, the president asked me to participate in their ad hoc committee, or other committees that they put forth, um, when they're president or they're about to become president. So I was in peak, which is the president-elect ad hoc committee, and our advisory committee. I'm sorry, advisory committee. So we kind of helped him figure out what his theme is for the year that he becomes president. We went over the issues that we have amongst all the 55,000 members and assisted him with, his agenda and focus and stuff like that. So I thought that was really interesting. Then I'm back um in nominating again. But and then on the regional level as well, I supported the DRC, so I was regional representative for a few years to help the DRC, uh, you know, get rolling with their duties, I guess, if you will.
Yeah, and I think you always help out the chapter too. He's still
Yes,
keeping hands helping
yes,
out.
and yeah, I don't know about you, Bill, but I've like, man, I don't know if the chapter even appreciates us, hanging around, but I feel like it's important that we guide them and they have some support and, having a liaison from society to region to chapter, I think that really helps. So
Yeah,
this is, I got to regional and society because of the chapter. So I have to owe it to, where I started. Like they always say, never forget where you came from. I truly believe that. Never forget where you came from. So
yeah, yeah.
yeah, very thankful of Notkin, very thankful of Barrington High School, yeah, all that. So, but yeah.
That's great. That's great. I got involved later in my career in ASHRAE, and I was just blown away by the organization, how big it is. I mean, the first time I went to a conference, ASHRAE conference, I was just blown away that there's so much knowledge and all the different people, just a whole new world. So it
Yeah.
was really great.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
I was just in Atlanta this past weekend, and we had members from all over the world. You
it's
go
going
around the
really
world.
international. Yeah,
Yeah,
big
yeah,
push.
yeah.
What memories about Hawaii ASHRAE chapter stand out to you? Any colorful characters you want to talk about, or people that influenced you? You already mentioned Lester.
Yeah, Lester Nakata. But in the beginning, um, that was 28 years ago. Uh, Sam Fujikawa, Wes Nakaguchi, Eric Nakagawa. You had John Gesser, love John Gesser. He passed on. Um, Henry Pond, all the I'm not gonna say all the old members, but they were so I my first meeting was just I was just my eyes were open because there were so many, obviously majority men, but very nice. They weren't like, just really inclusive.
Mhm.
They talked to me, and they were very appreciative that I was part of it. Ken Richardson, I was serving Ken Richardson, I think, when I started. So a lot of just the personal connection. It it felt different then, Bill. It was like one of the boys. And so that was really nice. Um, People who influenced me up, we have, like I said, Sam Fujikawa, Eric Nakagawa, Ken Richardson, Alex Tang. Those were the guys I worked with, Lester Nakata. Uh, I remember, just meeting with Alex, me, Eric, and Ken, the four of us, and just love meeting them at the Plantation Cafe, if you remember, Ala Moana Hotel.
Oh yeah, yeah,
We
yeah, yeah.
met, yeah, we met there. Our meetings at
The
the
meetings were at Flamingo, right? Was that still
Chuck
at the
Wagon.
Flamingo? Yeah, at that time, or was
Yeah,
that
and
past that?
it was the where all the where it's on Beretania, right?
Yeah,
Not Beretania, sorry, Capilani.
yeah,
That
Kapiolani.
corner where Jack in the Box is. I mean, that meeting was fine. Then we went to Pagoda. So I vividly remember just my first meeting with Curtis, helping me out with the boys, and then just being part of the BOG. That was really nice. And then I got to meet Fred Colas, and
Yeah.
I really looked up to him. Fred Colas was um a great mentor. He's I don't talk about it very much, but he really helped me a lot. He opened my eyes, and just how passionate he was about ASHRAE, and
Mhm.
um just yeah, just and it as I moved up to become the ASHRAE president, there's just Joseph Ting, who really helped and influenced me moving up. And um yeah, those are the people that stuck with me. It's Eric Nakagawa, Alex Tang, Ken Richardson, with all the times that we spent together. Oh, I'm gonna cry.
Maybe the
So,
last question would be, what advice would you give to younger members, those that are just getting involved,
yeah,
or young engineers in general, I guess.
I mean, we did talk about women in ASHRAE or DI earlier, but I think I just want them to know what ASHRAE stands for, and why we have it, and yes, we have the social aspect of it, but there is really a a, a bigger um purpose of being an ASHRAE member. It's really to really make sure that people understand what ASHRAE stands for, that we do have a platform to um, meet others, to have technical training, to have so we are up to date with standards. And again, it has a deeper purpose. So I hope they know what it's about, so they have a huge value. They put a lot of value on their membership. And and, and so that's one aspect. And then obviously the building and becoming more professional, and just helping you uh develop a um better skills and network, and things like that. It really does help on the professional level, personal level, and on the technical level as well. So I hope they do value the membership, and it's not just like, oh, it's just for a party. But there is a deeper purpose for being an ASHRAE member, and also the ASHRAE organization. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I found it's kind of unique because it has the contractors, it has the consultants, it has the sales guys, and you just meet everybody on just such a personal level. It's so much easier to talk with them,
Yeah.
than just writing memos or disagreeing about this. You kind of, that personal relationship just makes such a big difference, when
Yeah.
you know who you're working with.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, the connection too. It's like you're not afraid to go, "Hey, I'm having a problem with this. Can you help me out?" You know? And now obviously my biggest friend, I call him my best friend. We have Les Taniyama, and we've grown a lot, through ASHRAE. We connected through ASHRAE, and became, now we're like our family. So I owe it a lot to ASHRAE too. So ASHRAE is, again, take it for what it's worth, but it can influence your life a lot, and it has a huge impact on my life. So hopefully they see the potential.
Okay. Well, hey, thank you for your time. Thank you. I know you're very busy, but thank you so much that we can share this about you, to others. Thank
Yeah,
you.
Bill, thank
I'm gonna
you.
stop the recording right
Yeah.
now. So,
Okay. And thank
uh,
you for doing this. I know this has been a you know